Hey friends, so today I want to talk about a series of client sessions that I had yesterday and 4 core themes that came from them. And usually, when there are core themes that are repeating themselves throughout the sessions, then it's a bit of a signal to me that these are themes that are going on for the collective, or at the very least can help others. So those 4 core themes, the first one is, what is my life purpose? There were quite a few people asking about that. The second one, how do I connect to myself and spirit? The third one is, my body won't let me do the things that I used to love to do. And the fourth one is, I am grieving identities, versions of myself that are dying. So all big ones. The first one, what is my purpose? So the simple answer that came through, simple, not always so simple, but pretty simple actually. My purpose, your purpose, our purpose is what we do naturally. It's kind of as simple as that. What we do naturally that brings us joy, that helps others. And sometimes we don't even know that we're doing this. It's so natural to us. From here, what's really important, sometimes that answer can seem so easy and it's just hard to even believe. But from there, where we were guided to go is, what do we want to do with that purpose? So we are our own purpose. Do we want to make our life's work out of it? Do we want to build structures and systems so that we're offering that as a service to others? Or do we want to infuse that purpose into everything we're already doing, into our existing current job, into our interactions with our families, our friends, ourselves, our communities? And it doesn't have to be either or, but it's something to think about. And oftentimes people will come and ask, what is my purpose? And the purpose is actually already known because it is us. And it's really about reflecting on, okay, then what do we want to do with that? How do we want to express that purpose into the world? How do we want to bring it through? And through what structures? Do we want to create formal structures? Do we want to make it a business? Or are we happy to infuse it into everything we do? The second core theme, how do I connect with myself and spirit? And sometimes people might say to me, I used to feel so connected. I used to meditate. I used to do this. There's so many things I used to do. And we need to remember that sometimes things change. And as we grow, the ways that we connect also grow with us, even if we don't know exactly what those are and we're still finding out. So it can take a little bit of effort on our part, and just know that our higher selves, spirit, will come to meet us as we continue to put ourselves forward. So in some cases, it might just be creating a routine or refreshing our routine. You might have a routine and feel like, oh, it's just not working. So you may need to change it up a little bit. You may need to change the location where you're meditating. Maybe meditation isn't working in the same way. So maybe it's time to take a walk and be in moving meditation, especially a walk in nature. A lot can come when we quiet the sounds around us, but also connect to nature, the trees, the air, putting our feet on the ground, hearing the sounds of the wind and the birds, and the sounds of our feet against, the natural earth, and just taking in breaths of fresh air. Sometimes playing certain music. I've been listening a lot to sound bowls. Binaural beats are wonderful. I just wrote an article on Substack about that. Sometimes just rituals to turn our attention from outward to inward, taking a bath, drinking a hot cup of tea. There isn't one way, and there isn't one way forever either. So sometimes changing it up is what needs to happen, and being open and asking for direction and guidance, and the hard part, being patient for those answers to come. And I know it's hard to be patient. I can be very impatient, but it will come. And connecting with others, sometimes being in session in some kind of healing session, energy session, even just a space where you can talk with someone who can hold sacred, safe space for you and with you so that you can hear yourself and hear what's wanting to come through. And sometimes the answers don't come through right away in the moment. And there's a bit of a digestion and assimilation period, and answers can come in the time, and I call it the wake after, in the ripples after. So pay attention to that sort of digestion and assimilation process. The third core theme, my body isn't letting me do the things I used to love. And that's a tough one. It's really tough. It can be painful emotionally and physically, having to step away from things, especially when your body just will not show up in the same way. And something to realize is that this is a very good sign, even though it doesn't feel like it. And your body is communicating with you. I had to learn that also. I still do. And sometimes it's really, really hard. But there too, the most important thing is to pause and listen and follow what your body is saying. Give it a try. Treat it like an experiment and see what happens. Sometimes stepping away and having a break and resting can be really helpful. And sometimes it does mean a life change. But just know that, oftentimes we're leading with our minds, and our bodies are asking us to live in a very different way and partner with our bodies in a new way so that our bodies can really show us new ways of moving forward, and be open, because amazing, beautiful blessings can come when we follow the cues from our body. And, it takes time. It may look like sickness, illness, injury, but they truly are our greatest teachers. And here too, very helpful to get support around when you're going through something like that with your body. The fourth core theme, grieving identities and versions of ourselves that are dying. That does happen as we shift and grow, which can be so extraordinarily beautiful. Old versions of ourselves are literally dying, and there is a grieving process, and it can be emotionally painful. And sometimes we might think, what's going on? There are such amazing things happening in my life, and yet I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling angry. The list goes on and on of what you might be feeling and experiencing. And just know this is very normal. It can be happening simultaneously, death and rebirth at the exact same time, as the old is dying and the new is being born. And it's important to give time and space and attention to feeling everything that is coming up. And sometimes knowing that certain versions of ourselves are dying and we're grieving them at the same time as new versions are being born, sometimes just simply knowing that can be so helpful, because then we can pause and we can say, okay, take a deep breath. Okay, this is what's going on. I know this, and it's not easy, but at least I know this is what is happening so that I can choose how I want to take care of myself. So wanted to share all that. Oftentimes when I meet with people in session, there are consistent themes that come up, and they can often be very helpful. So without disclosing, obviously, I never share anything private from my clients unless they give permission. But when they're general, consistent themes, I really do like to offer that to others in a very general way, because it can be so helpful to know that we're not alone, you're not alone. Support is available, and these are very human things that we're going through, even as souls in human bodies and human experiences. And sometimes knowing can just be so helpful so that we can choose how we want to take care of ourselves and what support we want to get. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope this was helpful, and talk to you soon.